going, friends? Reckless Yuki here. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. I do greatly appreciate it, and I do apologize for the lack of uploads recently. Basically, school's just kicking my ass, and I have to focus a lot of my free time on doing that so I get decent grades. But I just started my spring break, so I had some free time, and one of the things I wanted to do this week is basically set up a PC build for a friend. My friend came up to me and asked me to basically build him a PC, and he had a certain amount of budget in order to build the PC, and we went a little bit above that budget. He had $1,500 to play with, and so we ended up putting a lot of money towards the PC, obviously, because that's the main thing, but he also needed peripherals for that budget. One of the things that I really stressed with him is the monitor, because the monitor is a very important thing, especially if you play competitive games where you need a high frame rate with low input latency to be able to maximize your potential on these games so you don't suck and you don't get infuriated with other people. So he picked out the BenQ XL2411, which I helped him pick out because I freaking love BenQ, and it's 144 hertz, a TN panel, so it has low response time so that the pixels won't be blurry, so that the image will be nice and crisp. So I think it's a fantastic monitor. Then obviously I chose the Velocifier keyboard because I think it's the best keyboard for the money. And then I just had him pick a Logitech G4L3 because I think it's a fantastic mouse and it's a pretty safe shape for most people to use it comfortably. So I mean, that's basically it for the peripherals. And then as far as the PC specifically, it has a Core i5, the new Kaby Lake 7400, which isn't overclockable, but we do live in the deserts of Arizona, so I wasn't sure what his, apartment complex would be like, or his housing situation, so I wasn't sure how cool he was able to keep the ambient temperature to keep the PC chilled at. We went with a Hyper 212 Evo cooler for the processor, so it's not the stock cooler, it's definitely an upgrade from a stock cooler, but I just didn't really want to have him overclock it too much so that it won't have the possibility of overheating, especially when we get into the hotter summer months in this Arizona desert. The graphics card is a 1070, so it's perfect for any sort of gaming he's ever going to need, because mainly he's just going to be doing 1080p at a high frame rate on this monitor, so that's just freaking awesome. The motherboard has Wi-Fi, so that was something important to make sure he had. And then we have a 240 gigabyte SSD in there for speed, and then a 3 terabyte hard drive just for a media dump. And lastly, the case is just some really cheap BitPhoenix case that we found on, I think, Amazon for $30. So that was ridiculously a good deal. It was a pain in the dick to work in because it was kind of poorly designed, but for $30 for the case, I couldn't freaking complain at all. I was just amazed that we were able to just put these things in something that was better than a cardboard box for $33. So I think it was a decent case. Now, as far as the totals, the PC itself was $1,250-ish, so that's a decent amount of money. He definitely does work part-time on top of his education. He's an engineer, so he definitely doesn't have a whole lot of free time, but that's how he's able to afford this. So if anyone's out there wondering how someone in college affords their stuff, I mean, he's definitely not rich. He works for his excess funds to be able to afford this stuff, and it is possible to afford a setup like this in college. So like the PC is $1,250, and that's because we had to run to Best Buy just now to get the actual Windows Home Edition instead of trying to do the Educational Edition. Tried it all 8 hours last night to install it. For some reason, the Education Edition does not want to work, and so I gave up and we decided to bite the bullet and get that. But $1,250 in total for the PC, and it runs Heaven Test Bench pretty well. I have to say I'm pretty happy with it, with anti-aliasing off with max settings. It runs at about like 120 frames constantly, so it is a nice performing system. The monitor was about $330, which is decently expensive, but it's a nice monitor, and like I expressed my opinions when it comes to peripherals, I think it's something that is very nice, especially to complement the power of his PC. And then I think in total he spent about $1,700-ish. So about a $1,700-ish setup for the monitor, mouse, keyboard, desk, and the desktop, all in this. So I mean, I think it's a pretty nice setup, doesn't take up too much space, and it looks pretty clean. Cable management sucks. It's pretty horrendous down there as far as like you guys who are really nitpicky about that, but it doesn't really matter. It's under the desk, you can't see it. It's perfectly fine. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys again in the next one, all right? Bye.